It was an age of darkness, of shadows, of bad anime, with whiny, unlikable protagonists who were super special angsty awesome and had bad boy looks, but in reality looked more girly than the actual girls in the show. It was a horrid time. But then, from this dark era, came a man who did not need to go into lengthy speeches, who did not need to have an interesting character design. A man who defeated all of his foes in one punch. Hi, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers, and today we're looking at One Punch Man! Season 1.
Season 1, yeah, the anime. I think it's the first time we started off an episode with, like, a monologue that wasn't us introducing ourselves.
The Tron Uprising one we did.
Oh, I forgot. You introduced me to One Punch Man. We've just now finished watching the first season on Netflix.
Yeah, fair warning, though, it's, as of this recording, April 2nd, 2017, 8:50 p.m. Central Standard Time, they don't have the English dub on the Netflix.
And the sub has got poor timing on the subtitles. It's usually like a half second or maybe even like a full 2 seconds behind sometimes.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
That is indeed annoying. But anyway.
Okay, One Punch Man is the story of a man who can defeat anything in one punch. This I already mentioned, but it started out life as a Japanese webcomic by its author named One, who lives in the Saitama district of Japan. It was then picked up by the author and artist of the manga One Punch Man, who said, hey, wait, I said that wrong. Okay, Murata approached him and said, hey, I'm a professional manga drawer. I could do a real manga for you instead of, you just having this. And so he approached his studio and said, hey, I have this guy. He knows this. He has this great story. And they said, we love it. Do the manga. We'll make an anime. And so they approached this little-known company called Studio Frickin' Madhouse, known for such quality works as Hellsing Ultimate and, I believe, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I thought they did Samurai Champloo too, or did I mix that up?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe I'll find out. Go ahead.
Okay, so, and then they made it, and it was awesome, and I loved it. As I said to Sonic Sons, this is the kind of anime we would make if we were told to make an anime. It's very self-referential. It parodies all sorts of superhero comics and manga.
It definitely takes the superhero genre in a strange new direction by really just taking its premise seriously. He will defeat anyone in one punch, and he knows it. And so, therefore, when everyone's blathering on about how super powerful they are and they're totally going to kill him, he is never, ever, ever phased. In fact, he's rather bored.
Because he's so strong, so powerful, and so tough that he doesn't get any more enjoyment out of fights. At all.
Yeah.
In fact, he had what he considered to be a wonderful dream where 70% of the human race was annihilated by mole people. And where 70% of the human race was annihilated by mole people, and he was happy because they were giving him a good fight.
That's a guy who really wants a good fight.
Yeah.
And doesn't normally get one. And so then, because of that too, he gets room for other little quirks. He's what was that guy in the he went to fight the Evolution, House of Evolution people, and one of them was like the best, and he starts smacking Saitama around, and Saitama's apparently getting smacked around, like on this big room, just bouncing off of things, and he's thinking to himself, I may have made a terrible mistake. Man. Yeah, this beetle guy. I may have made a cockroach, maybe I thought a cicada.
No. It was like a horn beetle.
Oh, okay.
Because it had the horn, because it was... Well, this, as we said before, this parodies a lot of anime and superhero stuff, so it shouldn't surprise anyone that when he goes berserk, his color changes so that he looks like Eva Unit 01.
Oh, yeah.
Which is how I know he was like a stag beetle, because he had the horn like Eva Unit 01.
Anyway, so he's getting smacked around by the strongest guy of this whole group, and he's saying to himself, or thinking to himself, like, I think I've made a terrible mistake. yes, I missed that sale at the grocery store. And he's like so pissed off about this, and then like hits the guy and kills him in one punch. And then his disciple Genos is all like, actually no, sir, the sale is still ongoing. We can get there if we run. Okay, good.
Okay, so the story starts out with a city being destroyed. Get used to it. That's going to happen a lot.
Yeah, thank goodness they have so many cities.
By a monster called Vaccine Man, which is basically Piccolo from Dragon Ball, but purple and with thicker antennae. No, I'm serious. They actually got Piccolo's voice actor to do his voice in the English version.
That's fun.
And Saitama comes up and kills him in one punch. The first episode basically summarizes Saitama's character. He's a man who got so strong after, well, he lost his job and had to face a guy that looked like a crab monster from the waist up, and from the waist down, it was just a normal human's legs with a pair of tighty-whities.
Yeah, it's a weird show.
You can probably guess that. And he saves a little boy, even though he's not One Punch Man yet. He still has hair. But he is inspired by his old Japanese cartoons from when he was really, really, really little, and defeats the monster by ripping out its eye, which drags out the rest of its organs.
That's pretty thorough.
It's not expanded. It's not mentioned much in the anime, but in the manga it's made more explicit that the grandfather of this kid heard about how a random wandering hero saved his grandson from a crab monster and founded the Hero Association out of this. But on to Saitama. He decides to spend the next 3 years training with an intense routine of running 10 kilometers, doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 crunches every single day.
Yeah, he makes this big speech in that same episode with the beetle guy, where he's like going to, reveal how he did it. And then Genos, his disciple, who's already badass himself, he's a cyborg and all this, he's like, he's finally going to reveal it. And then he says it, like, super serious, 100 crunches, 100 this, 100 that.
No, squats, 100 squats.
Yeah.
Squats, sit-ups, and push-ups.
Right.
And 10-kilometer run every single day.
And eat a healthy breakfast, he says. And then they all, like, pause for a second. Genos is like, that's just basic strength training. It's not even that good. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first episode. That's not the first episode. No. He then, the more he trains and trains until finally he notices he's become super strong, and all his hair falls out.
It's a side effect of being awesome.
And there's an OVA comic about how he actually got his costume. He still had hair, but he was helping this guy out because the guy was being blackmailed, and the guy was his tailor. The guy was inspired and said, you know what, I'm making you a hero costume, and made it for him. And Saitama hated it, but it grew on him.
Apparently he made it out of indestructible material. Or
yeah,
whatever.
What the hell?
It's like just like Superman's costume. It's in just whatever.
Yeah, it was made by Ma Kent in frickin' Kansas. And yet it can handle, like, kryptonite super lasers.
Yeah.
Okay, I suspect that he upgraded the Fortress of Solitude at some point. But still.
Mm-hmm. I've heard in some cases they've tried claiming that his power of toughness, like, somehow is actually a force field that's, like, half an inch off of his skin.
Yeah, tactile telekinesis.
Right,
that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, he gets super strong, and now he can't find any enjoyment in fights anymore. Oh well. Episode 2 rolls around, the mysterious cyborg, and we find that that City Z, where Saitama lives, is being plagued by the most cruel and vicious creature known to man. The mosquito!
And this one mosquito that bites him is, I think, the only opponent he ever doesn't kill. I guess there's a few he goes, he's merciful on them. But this is one that he cannot get his hands on.
Yes. The one thing that One Punch Man cannot one punch.
Yeah. Freaking mosquito.
He's like using his superpowers to try to destroy this mosquito.
Mm.
Meanwhile, there's a swarm of mosquitoes that descends on City Z and starts literally draining all the blood out of people that it finds in kind of a gruesome manner. And by kind of, I mean absolutely gruesome. turns out they're being hive mind controlled by Mosquito Lady, whose name I cannot remember because she was only in this one episode, and depending on who you ask, either died or came back later in like a non-canonish thing where she had artificial legs because Saitama punched them off.
Oh.
Anyways, and because he is a hero, Genos, the cyborg, comes up to stop her. And he does some pretty cool... Okay, one thing you can say about One Punch Man is that it is... The fights are really... It's really well animated. Funny thing is, this wasn't given like an especially great budget. The studio guys who made this just liked it so much they just gave it their all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Genos keeps fighting her typical Japanese style, going, "Oh, now I have to use my super cannon." Or, "Oh,
everyone calls their attacks in this show, at least in the Raider episodes.
And everyone's evacuated until Saitama, being Saitama, runs into the scene chasing after the mosquito with a can of Raid. Spraying it, yelling, "Get back here, you bastards!" Genos says, "Get the hell out of here, you're going to frickin' die." Saitama says, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here? I thought I was the only one left in the city." And then they get hit by a literal tidal wave of mosquitoes, which doesn't do anything to Genos since he's a cyborg, and Saitama has his clothes stripped off for some reason. So for the rest of the episode, he is naked.
Yeah, that doesn't happen ever again. He gets better at holding on to his clothes, I guess.
Yep. So Bug Lady comes in, she absorbs all the blood from all the mosquitoes and becomes a super-powered thing, cuts Genos in half, cuts off one of his arms. This is a recurring thing. He will always lose an arm in a fight.
Yeah. It's an easy way to show people are like seriously damaged, and yet they're always okay somehow.
Yeah.
Everyone who loses an arm grows it back or has another one built for them or something.
Okay, well, admittedly, he's a robot. He's a cyborg, so he can
makes sense.
He can do that. And just as he's about to sacrifice himself, Saitama smacks her once in the face, and she hits a building, splatters blood all over it, and then vanishes. And he says, "Bugs suck."
Epic lines there. Yep.
Genos, of course, gets obsessed with him because, hey, this is a guy who effortlessly just wiped out this thing that cut me in half. And here's another reason why I think that this is the sort of thing we would write. When Genos is asked, "Okay, why do you want to train with me?" Genos gives a backstory speech. You know the one. You've seen it in everything. It's basically him rambling on and on about his backstory, usually accompanied with flashback pictures to show the passage of time and to show kind of a montage of what happened in this person's past. Yeah.
This time the montage is a bit different.
Yeah, it doesn't show anything from his past. It just shows stuff that's happening right now, like water dripping into the sink.
Here's the sky.
Hey, look, a bird. Here's different shots of his apartments, inside and outside.
And they keep cycling through the same shots.
Eventually, he just keeps going faster and faster with his speech until Saitama just says, "Yo, 20 words or less. Shut up." Finally, he just admits, an evil cyborg came and destroyed my... Evil robot or cyborg came and destroyed my town. I was nearly dead. I volunteered to become a cyborg to kick his ass, and I've been chasing after him for the last few years. So I need to become stronger.
And then then those House of Evolution guys show up.
Yeah.
And one of them he thinks might be the guy, but he's not the guy. And that never comes up again the rest of the season.
What?
You remember he confronted the Robo Gorilla dude. And he's like, "Are you by any chance the guy who destroyed my town?" And no, he wasn't. And then the whole backstory thing just gets dropped after that.
Yeah, I can't remember if it comes up after that, but I think they're setting it up.
Yeah.
I think they're setting up for long term because they have like the Machine Organization and Metal Knight as being, kind of important, but they don't show up that often. Okay, so first things first, some guys from the House of Evolution, created by a scientist whose backstory makes no goddamn sense. Because it's like, at once, he was super respected and everyone loved his theories because he was a genius. But at the same time, no one respected him because his theories were crazy, and they wouldn't allow him to do any experiments. So the guy did the most natural thing in the world and created an immortality serum, and then cloned himself multiple times.
And all the clones have the hair the opposite way, because he felt like it.
They then decided to do Island of Dr. Moreau type shit, and make people animals to serve as servants so that he can create, like, Supermen or something.
Yeah, something like that. So the highest evolution or something.
Which is not how evolution works.
Nope.
God damn it, people.
I guess you could just call it the House of Biology, but it wouldn't sound quite as cool.
So the gorilla's like... So Saitama basically kicks the ass of all the monsters except for the gorilla, who Genos kicks the ass of. And this is a talking cyborg gorilla, so, awesome, really. The gorilla goes, "I will never betray my master. Know that the Lion King will come and destroy you." And then Saitama comes up holding the eyeballs of the Lion King. Oh wait, is this that guy?
Yeah, different Lion King.
The gorilla just stares at them stoically for a moment, and then, "Okay, I'll tell you everything you want to know."
This entire show is dedicated to humiliating tough guys. That's just tough guys getting humiliated. The show. Every episode.
Although it's got a ton of fun in-jokes and references. In the English version, they got the voice of Leomon from Digimon to play the Lion King dude. And when they finally get to the House of Evolution, where the bad guys have been housed, where the Mosquito Girl came from, actually, and where Zombie Man, that S-Class hero that showed up for exactly one scene in the anime, came from.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought all the House of Evolution people were like, animal themed.
He's zombie themed. That's kind of an animal.
I guess.
He's basically immortal and infinitely regenerates. But again, he shows up like once or twice. So they go to the House of Evolution and they hear, okay, these 8 towers we'll have to fight our way through. And then Genos just blows up the tower. And then they go into the basement where the bad guys are anyways. This whole... And then it goes into the thing of Genos gets his ass kicked. Saitama reveals his secret source of strength. And then, Saitama realizes, oh, there's a sale on.
As I mentioned earlier, yeah.
Okay. Then comes the Hero Association. For some reason, Saitama's interested in people noticing him and wanting him to, wanting to be recognized. I put this down as early installment weirdness because it isn't really a thing for him.
Later on, yeah. It's like, I thought maybe they're trying to do character development, but they didn't actually have the development episode, per se, where he's like, puts aside his need for fame.
And he doesn't really need to, because the rest of the episodes he's shown as being pretty selfless. I mean, he's still greedy in his own way and a bit selfish. Like, he still wants strong fights, but he doesn't really seek out people's approval. And in the manga, he actively insults the Blizzard group for seeking out people's approval and doing that shit instead of, being heroes.
So he's got... that does make him the morally upstanding guy there, which does also, though, make him a little less quirky than the... What? Nobody knows my name. Frick. All right, I have to join the Hero Association, I guess. Fine.
Although it could be that, Although it could be that since he is part of the Hero Association, he's less concerned about that because he knows people will know his name because he's a hero now.
Yeah, that's true.
So... maybe it's character development? I don't know.
Little vague.
I suggest looking up the scene of Saitama Hero Association tests. Because it's basically the strongest man in the entire universe doing physical fitness challenges.
They have him do the high jump, and he puts his head through the ceiling that was like 50 feet above them. Because they built a really high ceiling.
He does the shot put. It goes through the wall that's like several football fields away. Whack-a-mole, he starts breaking the machine.
I'm not sure why whack-a-mole is part of a fitness test, but sure, why not?
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Although I could probably think of a few better ways, but let's not get into that. And he basically shatters every physical record. Unfortunately, he sucks ass at the testing portions, so he's ranked as Class C hero instead of Class S S S S S S S S S S S S S
Right.
S.
It goes C, B, A, and S is on top. It's a lot of video games work that way when they rank things.
Yeah. Genos, on the other hand, is known for being, well, the guy who blew up the House of Evolution. Oh, and by the way, interesting thing about the House of Evolution, after seeing his bug monster get destroyed by this idiot who only killed his bug monster because there's a sale on and I'm missing it. Yeah, the guy from the House of Evolution actually quits being a bad guy and goes on to have an octopus cooking stand with the gorilla. Yes, this is a thing.
That's pretty neat. I like that.
So, yeah, Genos, because he's A, suave, B, cool, C, kind of more fits the standard anime type hero, and D is obscenely powerful and got a perfect score on both the physical test and on the written test. Well, he got ranked Class S, the highest class, without doing like half the shit that Saitama does. Which, you know, kind of frustrating from an outside point of view.
Yeah, it was frustrating for Saitama when he made the comparison.
Yeah. Later, it shows a frankly quite awesome battle between Saitama and Genos. You can probably look it up. It's one of the better fights in the show. Okay, let's see. The next episode was the Hammerhead group, right?
With the bald heads?
The Paradisers, yes. So there's a bunch of guys with bald heads and power armor, because of course they have power armor, who decide to wreck the shit out of anyone who has a job because they want to live in a world where you don't have to work for a living. Because they are lazy.
But they have enough gumption to go wreck stuff, so good for them.
Dude, you stole power armor. Use it to do jobs.
Be a demolition crew. You'd be good at it.
Yeah, we see you wreck buildings.
No.
Okay, and okay, I can understand if in the perfect future of the Federation where they have replicators and can literally supply you with anything you want by going up to a replicator and saying, "Give me a house." Okay, fine. But not so much in this world, which appears to at least be semi-based on the real world, except with random monster attacks that blow up cities.
I feel like the rest of the real world bit there hardly exists, though. It's the background thing that happens while monsters attack.
Yeah.
You know, like in Power Rangers where they would, like, live a high school life and then they'd have their fighting stuff? This is like that, but without the high school. It's just like, oh yeah, it's in the background somewhere. Fight.
Or as a way to set up gags for Saitama.
Yeah.
Okie dokie then. So, but since one of their identifying features is they're all bald as shit, and Saitama is bald, he decides to go out and stop them because, well, everyone is calling him a terrorist. Which I'm sure none of our audience has any experience with whatsoever. Statistically speaking, I mean, some of you might be like,
we don't cater to actual terrorists. The whole point of that remark was.
Well, no, I mean, like, if
I'm sure someone has been accused improperly at some point.
Well,
somewhere.
actually, my thing was.
How many viewers do we have, though?
See, that was what I was going to. Statistically speaking, we probably don't have any Muslim viewers because I don't think we have any viewers. I think we have like 10.
If you're a viewer, leave something in the comments, maybe. Hi.
Please. And if you're Muslim, we're really sorry.
We're not. I don't know what we're trying to say. We're trying to be helpful. Anyway.
Trying to be helpful by indirectly saying Muslim people are being accused of terrorism.
Well, that's criticizing our own culture for being Islamophobic, you see. So what we're doing here.
Also, Anime Trump appears to hire Speed of Sound Sonic.
Not the same as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Or Sonic Sons.
Or, yeah, that too.
Who is a killer ninja person with a creepy Joker smile. And Sonic murders every one of the Paradiser group except for Hammerhead, who manages to escape Sonic and runs to Saitama, who punches him once, shatters the armor, and says, "Screw this, I'm going to go get a job." And then in the later episodes, we actually see him going to job interviews. So, good on you, Hammerhead. And this is also where the rivalry between Speed of Sound Sonic and Saitama starts. Of course, it's very one-sided because Saitama is basically God, and Speed of Sound Sonic is just some uppity ninja.
I don't know how this rivalry works in Speed of Sound Sonic's... I'm going to call him Sonic. I don't know how it works in Sonic's mind. He's just like, I'm going to keep fighting you. Like, you've seen him enough to know he's invincible. Why do you bother?
I think it's like that idiocy. It's like Lex Luthor. He can't stand to know someone's better than him.
Yeah, but Lex, I don't know, manages to get other stuff done in the meantime. He's still rich.
Yeah.
Speed of Sound Sonic is just like, I don't know, he only shows up to challenge Saitama.
Well, he's an assassin. He murdered all the Paradiser group on
Yeah,
the
but he
orders of Anime Trump.
does he do any further assassin work after that episode?
I think he leaves, and then he comes back once and is immediately tossed in jail.
There you go.
Remember?
Yeah.
And then he broke out again, and then didn't do anything for the rest of the season. He does other shit too later on, but that's after season 1 ends. Next episode was, Saitama receiving notice. Hey, guess. Oh wait, no, that wasn't it. Okay, next major event that actually makes any sort of sense is the Sea King arc, which expands on the Hero Association, how rankings work, introduces a whole bunch of new heroes, and quite frankly, no offense, I kind of prefer the other heroes to Saitama in a lot of cases, because they actually have to struggle.
That is the defining difference.
Except for one. Puri Prisoner. Oh, God. Okay. Imagine every prison rape joke had a baby with every stereotypical gay man joke and stuff it into a body that is 120% protein shake. This is Puri Prisoner. And it's implied that he breaks into prison to rape people.
You know, they never said rape. I just thought they...
Remember how I said that he was toned down in the anime?
Oh, goodness sake. I don't want to read this manga.
Yeah. I tend to skip all the bits with Puri Prisoner. Because he is awful. There is, no redeeming qualities to Puri Prisoner. His special transformation, which looks like the intro to Sailor Moon's... You know how in Sailor Moon, there's a thing where she spins her magic wand and says, Moon Prism Power or whatever, or Moon Transformation bullshit of nonsense, and then apparently her clothes disappear and in a swirl of rainbow sparkles, and then her new outfit comes in? Puri Prisoner does that, except without the clothes coming back. Yeah, he just explodes out of his clothes and then fights naked. I weep every night, knowing that I have seen Puri Prisoner's ass.
So, yeah, the arc, though, consists of a bunch of sea creatures coming out of the sea and mostly getting killed, except one of them is the king, and it's really super hard to kill him, and then eventually Saitama shows up and kills him. Frankly, it was kind of simplistic plot once you realize the whole long view of it.
Well, yeah, but once you put it down to that level of simplicity, any story is simple.
Yeah, but I didn't think there was a lot of twists here. It was
Kirk fucks up his handling with Khan, and then his best friend gets killed because of it.
Sure.
That's Wrath of Khan.
But I'll tell you, I found Wrath of Khan much more interesting than this arc.
Okay, fair point. I'm just saying that when you level it down...
I don't know. But, what else was there? There's, Puri Prisoner comes out, does, his weird things, and he's basically fighting, and then he doesn't win.
Okay,
and then
Speed
of Sound Sonic is fighting, and he doesn't win. And he, the occasional joke now and then, because Sonic gets naked, too, for a bit there, and...
We swear this is not... We do not watch this because it's full of naked men.
Hey, not that there's anything wrong with that, per se.
I don't want to see naked men.
Yeah, you don't have to. No, that's okay, too.
God damn it, people. Stop assuming we want to see naked men in One Punch Man. That's 3. God damn it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay. And it's just one of my favorite heroes, Moomin Rider, or as it's translated, Licenseless Rider. He's basically a hero who goes around and fights crime on a bicycle.
And he has no real power to speak of.
Yeah.
Just punches people.
He just is a good person while riding on a bicycle. And he goes around all day, every day, being a good person. And he tries to fight the Sea King, too, even though he openly admits, I know I'm not going to stop you, but I can delay you until someone more powerful than me gets here.
So he's very selfless that way. Very
The Terminator. I like him.
Yeah, Determinator.
Okay, after the Sea King is defeated, What happened after the Sea King was defeated? Jeez.
Well, there was that little bit where that one jerk face in the crowd, who's just an internet troll in real life,
Oh my god, I
was all
forgot
like,
about...
"Oh, Saitama won? No, he couldn't have won. Clearly, or he only won because the Sea King was weak or something. Blah blah blah."
And
then Saitama's like, "Oh," he just pretends like, "Thank goodness all those other heroes softened him up for me."
Okay,
So he's like
this
sharing
is part
the
of the
fame.
argument, which is that the Sea King is weak, and yet somehow the other heroes beat him up more, so that the Sea King fell to Saitama. So Saitama's just stealing the kill, and yet this internet troll made manifest into physical reality is somehow also arguing that the other heroes are weak and incompetent, and Saitama is awesome, and that the heroes suck. So Saitama basically starts acting like, oh, it was my secret plan all along to let these idiots weaken him up for me, and then I can take all the credit. Don't let them die, because then I can't keep stealing their kills. Basically, just...
He's trying to share the fame. Yeah, it's nice of him.
Yeah. We forgot the meteor thing, where the world's most physics-defying meteor that has ever existed shows up.
Extremely slow meteor.
Like, you can see it in the atmosphere. It takes, 20 minutes for it to fall, 100 feet.
And they take this like as such a big problem, but later on, Tornado can totally summon meteors when she dang well pleases. So she could have just pushed this one away if anyone bothered to call. But I guess they didn't.
They did call, all the really good heroes. Remember? That's where we met Blast or was it Bang? Blast.
Wait. Blast is the one we never meet.
Oh,
he's the
I
number
get Blast
one.
And Bang mixed up.
We mixed up Silver Fang.
Silver Fang.
Yeah.
They called in Silver Fang, Metal Knight, and...
Yeah, they didn't call in the one person who could do things about meteors. Good HR, you guys.
Yeah. And then Saitama destroys the meteor in the atmosphere, and because reality suddenly ensues, the meteor shatters and its remnants destroy the city. But it's fine in the next episode, so, whatever.
Yeah, there's not a lot of consequences.
Oh, and everyone's really pissed at him because the meteor destroyed their homes. And then we meet the assholes. There are two heroes known as Tank Top Tiger and Tank Top Black Hole. Their power is that they are strong and they wear tank tops. That's it. They want to increase their hero ranking by taking down Saitama and making him look bad. But, considering this is Saitama, this goes about as well as you would expect. Oh yeah, and Silver Fang does absolutely nothing to help. Like an ass.
I guess he figured Saitama had it covered or something.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, final arc of the first season is the Boros arc, where the space dominator Boros comes to Earth in a giant spaceship and tries to take it over. We also meet all of the S-Class heroes. And, damn it, where did I put the... Can you bring up the... Oh, okay.
We have a list here. All of the S-Class heroes get together because there's been a prophecy that something spooky is going to happen in the next 6 months.
Yeah, it is literally the single most vague prophecy I've ever heard.
The Earth is in trouble. Yeah.
The Earth is in danger. Okay. The S-Class heroes, Blast, who we do not meet. The Terrible Tornado, who is a psychic brat, who is probably the most powerful psychic on the planet. She also has a little sister who looks much older because she was the result of horrible experimentation by evil scientists. And she can summon meteors and basically throw meteors at people. Silver Fang, who's a super martial artist who can break shit, and he's basically fills the wise old mentor role. Except they don't really need a wise old mentor, so he's just kind of a cool old man who is somehow more ripped than Ripped Gene Factory. Atomic Samurai, who is voiced by the same guy in the English dub as Kamina, who has a really sharp sword. Child Emperor, who is kind of a parody of all the I'm 10 years old and thus I have the tech abilities of God. He gets more roles as time goes on. This was not a good arc for him. He doesn't do anything here. Metal Knight, who is an asshole. and basically the Iron Man type of hero who uses a robot suit or something. King is one of my favorite characters on the grounds of he's basically Caiaphas Cain, but in this show. See, King's claim to fame is he's the most powerful human in the world. The problem is he's not. It's just coincidence that every time that he's been around, monsters have attacked, Saitama comes up and kills the monster, but since no one sees Saitama, they see this King and assume, oh, King killed it! Except the King is so introverted that he doesn't want to speak up for himself and say, yeah, no, that wasn't actually me.
So he just gets all the credit.
Yeah. They say he has something called the King Engine that revs up when he's getting ready to attack. And it gets louder and louder. It's his heartbeat. His heart beats so loudly when he's scared that it's audible to other people.
They did not get into this in the anime at all.
It comes up in a later arc. Okay. Zombie Man, who is rank 8 and is a practically immortal hero. He's later revealed to be a former test subject of the House of Evolution. Drive Knight, who doesn't really do much. Seriously, even in the manga, I don't really remember him doing much other than stopping a few really powerful monsters. But here he basically shows up, stands around, and says to Genos, you can't trust Metal Knight, and then walks off. Because he figures, fuck it, I'm done here.
Not gonna explain myself.
Pig God, who, again, doesn't do much, but is somehow so amusing I don't care. Whose power is that he eats everything. No,
yeah,
literally.
He was just there in the meeting and didn't show up again the rest of the arc, did he?
Yeah, I mean, what was he going to do? Eat the ship?
I don't know.
Actually, Pig God, that is a distinct possibility. At one point, Child Emperor is being threatened by a terrifying snake monster with super poison. Child Emperor closes his eyes, and he hears a noise. He opens it again. Pig God is eating the monster. Swallowing her whole. I like Pig God. Super Alloy Blackluster. And the only reason I remember this asshole's name is because I am looking it up on this list. His power is being muscular and being a black guy. That's it. He doesn't... I seriously do not remember him doing anything. Watchdog Man, another one of my favorite heroes, because he's a guy in a dog costume. He usually typically responds to anything like, nothing to report, by which he means... I went in, I murdered all of the monsters and stopped all of the crime in a given city, and now I'm checking in and there's nothing left to do. What's that Japanese dog story that stood at the...
Oh, I forgot the name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that,
Except that dog wasn't known for murdering everybody and telling them there was nothing new to report.
Well, murdering monsters. He's a hero. He attacks bad guys. Although I understand that I have to qualify that with the fact that Pori Pori Prisoner is one of the S-rank heroes. Flashy Flash, who is... I don't know. He's so super pretty. I think he's from like a boys love manga or something, or what's shoujo AI? Shoujo manga.
I actually forgot the concept.
Shoujo.
The shoujo and shonen aren't there, and I forget which is which.
He looks like he comes from a shoujo comic, and is like one of those magical princes that accompanies a magical girl type character who's like really powerful. But yeah, he's basically the Flash. Tank Top Master, whose power is he wears a tank top and actually has super strength. So, that's better than Black Hole and Tiger. So, Metal Bat, I like Metal Bat too, because he's basically a parody of street thug anime heroes.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Like Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, or that redhead guy from Bleach, or... that guy who did that thing.
The guy who did that thing.
Pori Pori Prisoner. Yeah. And so they fight a giant spaceship that comes down and destroys a city in an instant. And the S-class heroes that do fight do manage to put up a good showing. Somewhat. Meanwhile, Saitama jumps up to the ship and starts fighting Boros. Boros is very blatantly an Akira Toriyama ripoff character. He's basically an interplanetary conqueror, like Frieza, who is the strongest ever with super regenerative powers, like a ton of Akira Toriyama characters.
Got the hair.
He has the Akira Toriyama hair, and the motivation of, I want to go to different planets in order to fight really strong people, like all of Akira Toriyama's characters. He even looks like an Akira Toriyama character. This is actually the hardest fight that, to my knowledge, Saitama ever faces. It takes him 3 punches to kill this guy.
Including the consecutive thing as being one punch.
Yeah, I count that
It was
as
like
one.
regular punch, then he upgrades to consecutive standard punches, and then he upgrades to his final attack, serious punch.
Also, Boros kicked Saitama to the moon. And then Saitama jumped back. Because that is how physics works. Let's see. Yeah, that's and that's One Punch Man.
And that's One Punch Man. So I thought the show was at its best when it was being a superhero parody. When we interrupt someone monologuing about their backstory or their villain monologue or whatever. When Saitama gets to show random quirks that normally wouldn't happen, because the show is, a normal show would be trying to take itself seriously, and he's facing struggle and so forth. I gotta say, though, that it is hard to keep running with this premise forever, which is the main character will never truly struggle. So, we're doing this Boros fight thing, and it was, epically animated, and I liked that, but I kept thinking, wouldn't it be nice if these two had, some sort of a past, and there was something really on the line here, and if we knew freaking anyone that's either going to get saved or not saved based on Saitama's success or defeat. We know he's going to succeed because, for God's sake, that is the premise of the show.
It's the title.
That is the title. It's not a lot of risk here, guys. There are definitely fun moments in this show.
And it's definitely, I consider it a very good breath of fresh air, especially since, the darkness that a lot of comics seem to be sinking into. And hell, I just found Worms, so I could use some happy.
Yeah, I would love it if they put that further and just made it just, I don't know, like a superhero slice of life thing or something, where just lots of weird humor and jokes and so forth. And I think they've taken this, they take the parody thing, but then they also want to do the epicness of having a really big fight against a real big bad guy. And so we spend a whole lot of time setting up our big bad guy and talking about, and this Sea King has to punch everybody in the world one at a time. Oh, yes, definitely very strong. Oh, yes, is definitely double, triple strong form. Yes, I can see. I know Saitama's going to show up, you guys. I know where this is going. There's no surprises here to speak of. Moomin Rider is kind of neat with his selflessness or whatever, but we're not telling a very serious story about one man's selflessness. It's okay, I know where you're going with this. I see it. And now Saitama's going to show up. And I feel like instead of doing this as a multi-season show, you could have done just all the best stuff in 6 or 7 episodes. And be hey, this standalone parody thing, right? And the end.
I liked it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to like.
I liked it a lot. I liked the action. I liked the way it was handled. I've read every chapter of the manga that's come out so far.
Yeah, I actually started with the manga before the show, or the first couple, 2 or 3 volumes, and I found it boring. It was just so he just, this is actually, we skipped the first episode of this one, didn't we? When we started.
You did.
I did, yeah. Because you said, that first episode is just him being bored while he fights people. I'm oh yeah, that's the part that I read.
Yeah.
So
the show gets better once you get Genos into the picture, because he's trying to be this angsty anime hero guy, and then you just have Saitama as counterpart, who's just the creator literally made Saitama's design so boring because he was just amazed by how detailed some heroes' designs could be. So they made a hero super simplistic in design. Although, interestingly, I've heard the studio Madhouse actually struggled with Saitama's design because it was so simple that it was really obvious whenever they screwed up.
Hadn't thought of that. Yeah, it was neat how they'd change art style now and then. He'd be simple mode, and then once in a while go to serious mode. Tornado had a simple style too, once in a while, for a few seconds.
Which is actually how she was drawn in the original webcomic,
But yeah, Saitama and his big fight with Boros, it is a joke. I get the joke, which is he's just totally never really phased by this. He gets kicked to the moon. He's still like, oh, I guess I'm on the moon. And that is funny. But it's kind of like he's one note. He's a one punch man, but also kind of one note a little bit there, you guys.
Which is kind of why, as I stated earlier, I kind of like it when the focus is on the other heroes instead of.
But then,
because then it actually means something when they win.
Yeah, it does. But then too, those other heroes. I mean, I don't know enough of them personally, to have too much investment in them, except maybe Genos. But even then, like we have the one backstory speech, right? I'm hearing all these guys are teaming up against this one dude came up along with the spaceship, and they fight for a long time because this guy can regenerate like crazy, and they're like figuring out their tactics and stuff. But okay, who are all these heroes? I know them by what they look like and what their powers are. I haven't like seen them grow up. I don't have like friendships between them and various quirks that I've gotten to know and all these other character-y things that you would normally get from, say, a show about a team of heroes. They show up at the meeting, basically. Here's a threat. Go 9. Fight.
The meeting is in episode 9, and the next 2 episodes are continuations of that episode because the alien ship invades in the middle of the meeting.
Yeah, and they're just fighting the whole time, and it's like, I get, when I watched, we did the Teen Titans show we watched before. Oh, and those people actually knew each other, right? And
we watched an episode, a mini movie called like Teen Titans versus Justice League. Maybe we'll cover that someday.
But also like the regular show of Teen Titans, right?
Oh yeah, that too.
And it was, hey, there's the characters know each other, and so there's much more personality. You know what I mean? That comes from interactions and not just from the look and so forth. You get the
and the manga does get better about that. Again, they ended at a kind of an awkward time. Before a whole lot of these characters could really
get developed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they get more development later. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they also start pulling out other parody characters. Like there's a character who's a parody of Ranma from Ranma 1/2. He's like, dude, I just want to fight and like have an easy time. And then Saitama kicks his ass because it's Saitama. I don't know. I really like it.
I don't like it as much as you do, but
yeah. I think it's one of the best anime that I've watched from beginning to end. Which admittedly is a very, very short list.
Yeah, I was wondering how long that list was.
It is not long. It is very much not long, but...
Nah, I typically... I go for...
It's better than Inuyasha.
Oh, that goes on forever, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I've only seen a tiny bit of Inuyasha.
If Inuyasha was replaced with Saitama, it would have lasted 3 episodes. They would have punched the magic crystal out of existence, and Naraku would just be a smear on Saitama's fist. Oh, and somehow he'd punch the well and fix that.
Yes. By the way, I looked it up, and Madhouse did not do Samurai Champloo, but Samurai Champloo is a show I would recommend because that's got all the fighting you might need, but also better character development, to be honest. Obviously doesn't have the same jokes. I don't know, it's got its own jokes, actually. Samurai Champloo's got good humor.
You know what Saitama's power is? Every tsundere chick has like a megaton punch?
Yeah.
That's his power.
Yeah, without the tsundere stuff, yeah.
It's not like I like you or anything. No, really, it isn't like I like you. I don't like you.
That's why you're getting punched.
That wasn't that funny. No, I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes.
That's okay.
Normally I would also try to suggest like for something I really like fan fictions or fan art or something you can look up, but no, I haven't really seen much in the way of fan fiction for One Punch Man.
You did say there was a whole lot of slash fics between Saitama and Genos.
Yes, and you'll note that I'm not recommending them.
No, I didn't think you would recommend them, no.
Yeah, okay, look, I am an open-minded guy, but I'm not going out of my way to read slash fics.
Understandable.
Like, if it's a background thing, sure, but I don't know. I like reading romance stories between a boy and a girl. Call me weird.
Wait, aren't those also called slash fics? Isn't slash just romance, generally speaking?
No, generally slash is for Male, male, female, female.
Oh, okay. Well, to each his own. Or her own. Or their own. Whatever pronouns you use, folks.
As long as an...
Yeah, that one's really hard to spell.
Yeah. Okay, so KLPHS. Okay, Crow, that's the first syllable. Although, I would advise looking up Jonathan Young's cover of Hero, which is the opening theme to One Punch Man. Now, it was done by the Jam Project, a band that does music for anime. Actually, that's what the group's name is. Japanese Animation Music Group Project. And the theme song to One Punch Man it's really good. I really like it. Jonathan Young does a superb English cover, though. If you want another English cover, but unfortunately not the full one, I would go to Nate Loves to Battle, who did his own cover. It's a little more true to the musical stylings of the project, but I prefer the Jonathan Young. It's a little heavier rock, and it covers the full song as opposed to the Nate Wants to Battle cover, which is only the first verse.
It's a good song. Good, yeah. Some of that guitar work reminds me of the Power Rangers theme song.
He also did a Power Rangers cover.
That explains it, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to season 2. When it comes out, I'll be eagerly watching every episode. I can't wait to see things like the Human Monster Saga, the Blizzard group, because Blizzard Saitama OTP. Although personally, I prefer her Japanese name Fubuki, but that's just me.
Does sound more like a name than Blizzard.
Oh, I can recommend one fan fiction for you guys. It's a crossover with Worm called Meh, I Can Take Them All. Which is, yes, it is Simon Tama, a Japanese immigrant to Brockton Bay, in Worm around the same time as canon. It starts out with him being dragged before the Parahuman Response Team's director, basically the people who are in charge of superheroes in that universe, and she accuses him of being a superhuman because he was able to defeat a monster. And he goes, "No, I really wasn't. But you were able to defeat this powerful thing. It was a giant slug monster. I dumped salt on it. And then when I ran out of salt, I threw potato chips at it." Finally, she just kicks him out. And that's how it starts. But, I like it. It takes the silliness of One Punch Man and combines it with the seriousness of Worm. To a degree. Actually, a lot of... Yeah. Okay, it does it to an acceptable degree of both. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Okay. One Punch Man.
Yeah. I recommend it. Sonic not as much. And I'm eagerly awaiting season 2. So, anyways, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And I'm signing... One Punch!
Signing off.